I want to be under the bright lights. I want to be on the Broadway stage.
Tiger Rag Radio is on now.
All right, back here on Tiger Rag Radio, Jeff Palermo along with Todd Horne, Glenn Guilbeau. Let's get back into a little bit of baseball talk. We've been kind of going around the horn here on a lot of different topics, but heck, a lot of things are going on, and this is a fun time of the year when all the sports are converging like this. LSU baseball, again, 4-0. Pitching continues to be dominant. I'm still fascinated, guys, about what's going to happen in right field and how Jay Johnson is going to pull this off. I mean, Sunday it was Ashton Larson who hit the big 3-run homer. Today, I know Ethan Fry was just a designated hitter, but I guess he's kind of in the equation for the right field, but he's certainly part of the equation as far as getting at bats. You know, the battle here for Jay is between, Jake Brown, Ethan Fry, Josh Pearson, and Ashton Larson. Those four guys.
And I don't see how you keep Ashton Larson off the field.
But between those four guys, there's two spots, and you got to figure out who goes where. And so that's a very difficult. Sometimes these things end up working out by themselves. A guy gets hurt or a guy goes in a major slump and you just move on. But it's going to be very hard to try to keep these guys happy. It's easy now because you're blowing everybody out by double digits, so you can play a guy for 5 innings and then play the next guy for 4 innings. But it's going to get harder once you get into SEC play.
Yeah, but Ashton Larson led the team in hitting in the SEC last year.
He's only had one start in 4 games, though.
I know, but he's like what? He's got 3 hits already this year, including a homer.
There's better players on the team this year than last year, and he can move one to DH, and then move him to right field, and that's what he did with Jake Brown, and then he can flip things around depending on if it's a left-handed or right-hander.
Well, that's where Ethan Fry comes in, because Fry is going to be your guy going up against left-handed pitching most of the time.
Right, and he's got a bevy of choices for pinch hitting, So I mean, I don't think it's something that he needs to solve. I mean, he the other 2 outfielders they're pretty set. I think with Stanfield in center and Curiel in left field. I think those 2 are going to be there each game. But it just gives him a lot of variables and a lot of options. And I don't think it's something where he needs to find the right fielder. I think it's going to be a constant platoon.
You got to make sure these guys stay sharp. They're going to need at bats. These guys. It makes it. Trust me, I think it's probably a lot easier for a coach when it becomes like it was in 2023. Right? Once May hit, he knew who his 8 or 9 position players were going to be every game. I mean, he was rotating a little bit at catcher between Milazzo and Travinsky, but it's a heck of a lot easier when you put the lineup card on the desk and you go, okay, this is it, and you just roll that out every day. Right now, it's a little. There's a little maneuvering going on.
I think he's going to be mixing and matching though through Omaha. I really do. There's going to be a constant platoon. I feel like.
Yeah.
Because of the varied. You got more depth. There's more talent there, and he's got lefty and righty. He can do, and it's also I think what could be interesting. Maybe more than that would be, if the pitching stays the same, could Connor Ware maybe move in for Ianson or something, I don't know. Those top 3 look really strong.
Look pretty good. But somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to fall off a little bit.
I think he settles on a pretty much everyday lineup and pitching rotation by like 25, 26 games into the season. I really do.
I don't think so. He's got too many hitters.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to do that.
I'm not saying he's not going to go lefty-righty combos. I'm saying he's going to know who those players are.
Yeah. Oh, I think he might already know that.
I think there's a sense that he does, right? I mean, there's I think he has a good idea of who, even at catcher, I think how that's going to go. But I still think he wants to try to work in a guy like Blaze Priester out there.
He got him in.
But it's going to be tough. But it seems to me Luis Hernandez is the out of the he's going to lean. He's going to go with a guy that could go. That's the best defensive guy. He's going to go with that guy first, and Hernandez is that guy.
Let me ask you guys a question. When you look at the LSU baseball schedule, does it concern you guys that they don't really have a tough series until the end of April?
Yeah, I think it may. There's been some teams like that you thought were better than they were as they went into the SEC. Well, last year was kind of like that, but there's been some other teams like that, and he really doesn't. There were some teams that turned him down. I'm not sure who they were.
Right.
And he had to get Purdue Fort Wayne to sub in.
Right.
Dallas Baptist might be the best non-conference team he
plays. Even the conference schedule starts with Missouri.
Missouri is weak.
Yeah, Missouri.
Yeah, it doesn't. Last year, remember, it was the opposite, where it was difficult those first 15 games, and they got their brains beat in, and they went 3-12.
Yeah.
And this year,
it's the opposite.
You get Missouri, a series that you can think about sweeping right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. And then the second series is not a tough one either. In fact, it's until April 25th when they host Tennessee is when it gets really tough. They got Tennessee, Arkansas, and A&M.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It should be fascinating to watch, but right now it's on cruise control, and an easy opponent coming in again this weekend with Omaha will be in the box. So.
Seems weird, Omaha coming to Baton Rouge.
We'll be back after this.
Joining the Army is more than a chance to serve your country. It's also a great career move.
All my personal experience, I've been able to build upon that so that I could achieve construction management and training, go for a project manager planner. So when I get out of the military, I'm able to pursue a career in construction management.
Get the experience you need through service in the United States Army.
All right, back here on Tiger Rag Radio. We only got a couple minutes left here, but we'll bring them in anyways. Former LSU pitcher Ronnie Rantz able to join us now here at the end of the show as he joins us on the Max Home Hotline. Ronnie, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great, man. Apologize to stand you guys up. I was inside the PMAC getting ready for the LSU basketball game and just couldn't hear, actually. Didn't hear the phone ring, got distracted. But we're here to talk a little LSU baseball for a couple minutes.
So pitching-wise, you really can't there's nothing to critique there, Ronnie. I mean, it's been nearly perfect so far.
It's been about the cleanest first four games LSU as a pitching staff, has ever played. I mean, it's about as good as you can do. The main thing, Jeff, and I was this stood out to me in the fall when I watched them about 4 games, was no matter who pitched, they threw strikes. We all know they're big, strong, and they all throw in the 90s, and they're all super talented. But last year, for the first half of the season, they struggled throwing strikes. This year, they started it in the fall, and they've continued it in the spring, and that gives me real hope because if you can throw strikes with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you're going to be in every game you play.
Ronnie, do you think that 3-man rotation on the weekend is going to stick, or do you think maybe Connor Ware or Schmidt from Catholic could bump in?
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be pressure on those guys on the weekend all year long because, as you mentioned, those two, particularly Schmidt, the freshman, they're going to handle him with kid gloves because he's the future. And I like the idea of letting guys that are superstars as a freshman kind of ease into it as opposed to just giving them the ball week one because you don't need them right now. Let him get confidence. Let him have a month under his belt before you really test them. And the bottom line is LSU's got options. And so I think if you're in the weekend rotation, no matter who you are, if you have 2 bad ones in a row, there's a likelihood they're going to make a change and give somebody else a chance.
Ronnie, how much do you think the impact of having Nate Yeskie back for a second consecutive year impacts the ability of this pitching staff to start out this solid and be as consistent as they have been?
Well, you would think that that's a big deal, but think about it. It's a lot of new faces, right, that didn't work with them last year. Half the pitchers are brand new, maybe more. So I as much as that sounds good, I think it's just good overall for the program. I mean, last year, halfway through the year, the pitching was really not good. And then all of a sudden, the second half of the year, they got momentum. He got confidence. I'm sure Jay Johnson got comfortable and confident with Yeskie. And now it helps with just having that continuity as a program and recruiting and all those things.
Wrapping it up here with Ronnie. Looks like I'm going to guess Gavin Guidry's going to get the start on Wednesday. What do you think of him being a potential starter?
I don't really think that that's, the route. I think they're just getting him his work and making sure to get him some innings. My understanding is that, going into the season a week ago, they felt like Gavin Guidry was still their closer. Matter of fact, one of the coaches told me that, if they had, he's still the guy. If they got to get an out to win it in the ninth. At the moment, going into the season, Gavin Guidry's the guy they got the most confidence in. So I think right now they literally have, in my opinion, about 12 arms that they can really have confidence in. And now we'll figure it out over the first 30 days, the pecking order of those 12. But I think that the sky's the limit for this staff. They may not have that donkey at the top, that scheme type, that dominant ace Friday guy, but 1 through 12, they may have more dudes than ever before.
All right, Ronnie, we'll cut you loose. Enjoy the game, man. We appreciate some time. We'll get you on again here soon.
Quite a lineup of events in February from your friends at the East Baton Rouge Library. Always a hit, Mid-City Microcon returns on February 8th. Grab your bestie on February 14th for Movies on the Plaza, Galentine's Edition. The library also welcomes Poet Laureate Allison Pellegrin and author Robert Penn this month. For more details about these events and others, visit ebrpl.com. That's ebrpl.com.